before, I always count it a privilege to be able to do that. Gentlemen, I trust you have had opportunity to review the items in the consent agenda. That would be the minutes from the August 13th agenda work session. Excuse me. The wrong one. Approval of minutes from the July 23rd agenda work session. Approval of minutes from the July 23rd regular council meeting. Approval of minutes from the July 30th called meeting, as well as a declaration of surplus property and treasurer's report.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion to approve and a second.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Councilman, the treasurer's report will be provided to the council in advance of the second meeting of the month. We're at the end of the process of closing out the last fiscal year. We've got a trial balance and inputting the new budget for this fiscal year into the system. Probably a couple days out from that to get that out to everybody. Once that's complete, we'll delay just a little bit between the insurance and the passing date, so we'll get that out to you, and as we've been doing, make sure that's available well in advance of the second meeting of the month.
Okay. We will strike that item E. We have an amended motion and second to approve items A through D.
I'll make a motion to approve items A through D.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve items A through D in the consent agenda. Roll call, please.
Councilman Brady?
Yes.
Councilman Cagle?
Pass. Yes.
Councilman Manning?
Yes.
Councilman Sue?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert?
Yes. All right, at this time, we will entertain communication from citizens. If you are a resident of the city of East Ridge or a business owner here in the community and you have a comment, question, or concern you'd like to bring before the council, this would be your opportunity to do so. If you would please come to one of the microphones here at the front and state your name and address for the record. You will have 5 minutes. And we did have a couple sign up ahead of time. Larry Clark is our first. Hello, Mr. Clark. How are you? Good.
Mayor Lambert, council members, I'm Larry Clark, and I live at 906 Mount Belvoir Drive. And I'm here on behalf of the Tennessee River Rescue for the year 2015. The date for the River Rescue has been set for October the 3rd, the first Saturday in October, as usual. We're going to be working from 9 to 12 o'clock, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. We've got 2 locations that we want to work this year. The first one will be on Spring Creek, the area from the Ringo Road Bridge down past the East Ridge City Garage. We're going to continue to work that area. And then we're going to work another area around Ships RV Center, working on West Chickamauga Creek there from the Interstate Bridge down to the Highway 41 Bridge there. And that'll be our canoe zone. And then the one at Spring Creek will be mainly just volunteers walking along the bank of the creek, picking up trash. And our request to you is to provide the same level of support for the River Rescue that you all have for the many years that you all have been supporting this effort, which would mainly be to provide the dumpsters and the roll-off dumpsters that you all that we were able to use last year were really a blessing to us. They really helped our process very much. And then disposal of the trash that we collect, help with the use of the East Ridge City Garage area there, and also the fire and police department, the help that they provide with safety and management and then plus the staff that works with us to help make sure we've got some access lanes to get down to the creek. Pretty much the same level of effort that you provided in the past. Last year, we were able to remove 70 tires from Spring Creek. We were able to remove 1,700 pounds of bagged trash from along the banks of the creek last year. And we had some 60 volunteers that came out and helped us on that day. And so we're looking for a good turnout this year also. And we're just looking forward to being able to do that, having good weather, and being able to remove a lot of trash. Probably will remove as much this year as we did in years past. Just for your information, in the past 10 years, this will be our 15th or our 11th year to work on Spring Creek. And we've removed 343 tires from Spring Creek. We've removed 50 shopping carts and almost 20,000 pounds of trash from Spring Creek, the area between Ringo Road and down to the city garage.
Yes, sir, please.
Land over the ships, all that iron, all that your
It'll be from the interstate bridge to Highway 41. I believe that'll all be in Tennessee.
I know some of them used to be Jordan's out there, that ship.
We're going to work the part, just as you go into the ship's RV, there's an area over on the left as you're going in, and that's the area that we're going to focus. It's about 0.6 of a mile of West Shenandoah Creek.
Will we need to get permission from ships?
Yes,
Take our city equipment in there?
yes, we have already contacted them, and they are in agreement for us to work, and actually very happy to have us clean up that section of the creek. And whatever, the city needs as far as permission, we'll be sure and get whatever you all need to be able to put it. About all you need to do is just put a dumpster, one of the roll-off dumpsters there on the bank of the creek.
Can you get that, have them put that in writing and give us permission?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That way it protect the city of East Ridge and also protect each other.
Okay. We will do that. Yes, sir.
We was trying to protect you too.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like it's safe to say the city of East Ridge will be supportive as we have been in the past, and we appreciate your effort. You've done tremendous work over these years, and we really appreciate it.
We've had a lot of good volunteers that have worked for many years, and so we couldn't do it without the city of East Ridge's help, and so we're very grateful to the council for helping us the way you do.
We're grateful to be able to do it. All right, our next person is Charleston A. Wilson. Yes, sir. If you'll just state your name and address for the record, please.
Charleston Wilson, 1329 St. Thomas Street.
Okay.
I was coming with concern about massive potholes on my street. It's real big and it's kind of dangerous. And people want to flat their tires or run into someone's house or run over a child or anything. It is children on the street that plays in the yard and stuff.
Okay.
I was coming with concern about that big pothole.
Okay. You said St. Thomas? Okay.
It's a dead end street.
That right down there?
I'm familiar with the street, I'm not familiar with the huddle, I'll get with Amanda, I'm sorry, Norm, and we'll address that.
Okay. Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, and we will have some city folks go down there and take a look at it. Thank you.
Hey, Mike, while you're adding to the list, right past, where we turning to Life Care Center. They're on the entrance ramp to the freeway, or the hole there, that deep. This big ramp. Is it on Ringo Road or is it on McDonald Road? Well, it's actually, it's in the right of way of the state. It's actually the state's, but it needs to be addressed. You seen it, Larry?
I don't take that ramp enough to really see it. Is it?
Yeah, probably 35, 50 foot back
Okay.
ramp. And actually, it's out of pavement. It's broke out 80 and 2 pavement.
Right. Do we have anyone else? Seeing none, we will move on to communication from council members. Mr. Manning.
Nothing this time, sir.
Mr. Sewell.
Speaking of potholes, I guess, that kind of, there's a couple, I'll give my category, there's some sewer lines like in caved in, pretty deep, with some roads. I'll give you those.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Cable.
No, sir, I dress out there and Jim, my job was good.
Okay. Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Chief Williams and the fire and police department for their participation in the funeral processions for the 5 veterans. Being a fellow veteran, that's really appreciative. You guys did a good job having the fire truck down there and standing there in the rain on the bridge, on the overpass on I-75. Y'all guys, you did a good job, and just want to say thanks.
Jim, anything else? Sorry.
No, that's all.
I mean, absolutely. We certainly appreciate our fire and police departments, the work they do. Of course, obviously it's still very fresh in everyone's minds, what happened recently, and it's good to remember and say thank you often to those folks who put their lives on the line. We don't do it nearly enough, and so we're very, very good.
One thing, should I say something?
Yes,
Well,
yes.
Bill, Bill Muse is still in the hospital. And he was doing good, but now his other types of complication, I don't want to tell you. Each and every one of them, just pray for him, keep him required to get
Absolutely. We will certainly do that. I did have one thing. I had a meeting yesterday with Denise Furlan, who does the Hometown East Ridge. She and I had talked several months ago about the possibility of doing something. Her schedule and the publication schedule, there's going to be a Hometown East Ridge going out the first week of September. We probably will not see another one until March, so it'll be a pretty good lag there. And I had talked to her again back, may have been this past March, about doing a holiday issue that would do a couple of things. One would be advertising, bringing publicity to a lot of the things that the city has going on during that time. And we've got a lot. We've got the Christmas parade, we've got the Christmas Night of Lights, the Needy Child Fund, all sorts of different things going on at that time that we could publicize. But in addition to that, it would be really good to do a buy local, essentially a shopper's guide for East Ridge to remind people we're not, we don't have necessarily all the stores that you can find at Hamilton Place, but a lot of people can still find the things they need without leaving the city. And I think it's good to remind folks of that. but there's still a lot of stuff here, and we're on the cusp of seeing a lot of new things come in over the next few years that we think will be very good for the city. And so I'm not sure that we've really done this kind of thing before. But just to encourage people, because it helps everybody. It helps our businesses here at East Ridge, it helps the city, it helps the taxpayers if we keep that money local. And we really didn't discuss a price of what that would cost. But we do have funds set aside, earmarked for economic development in this budget. I think we certainly could use that. I'll defer to Mike at that as to how much of that they would feel comfortable using on this project. And I feel pretty confident as well that we could probably get the local chamber to get involved, to at least help in contacting businesses and making folks aware that this thing will be coming out if we do it. So I just wanted to make you all aware of it. We may bring something forward in a couple of weeks that would just allow Mike and Thad to kind of pursue that, to see, what it would take, how much it would take from the city. And if it turns out to be something that's cost prohibitive, then that's fine. But I think it's an opportunity. We can get some publicity out there for things the city is doing that are very important. Obviously, the Christmas parade is a tradition here at East Ridge, late November, but also the Needy Child Fund, Christmas Night of Lights. I mean, so many things going on. So just wanted to mention that to you all and give you a heads up that you may see something coming in a couple of weeks that would be in relation to this.
One thing you need to explain.
Yes, sir.
I asked a question for a certain person, was that how we talking?
Oh, yes, we do have virtual Jablonski with us over here. It's good to have you with us. You are traveling, and we're grateful to have you with us via Skype. So I think that's what Denny was referencing, was missing the boat there.
As he talking, we don't see him.
Yes. And so, Thad, I think you were going to say something. It sounded like it anyway. Were you going to say something in relation to the buy local, the shopping?
Yeah, I've been working with Denise Furlan, and we're gonna get some pricing and be able to present that to the city council. I'll talk to Mike about that here over the next week, and we'll get with her and get some pricing options and talk about a buy local program as well as some of the promotional items you just mentioned.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate it very much, and it's good to at least explore the opportunity. So thank you very much. And with that, I'm finished with what I wanted to say, and I'll turn it over to Interim City Manager Mike Williams.
Mayor and Council, I've only got one thing to add this evening. Last week we had a medical call here in the city with a city employee while he was at work. City employee went down, and what we run into was a situation which is not very common. We see with normal walking around and talking and such. It's more of a traumatic type injury. Bottom line is, we almost lost a city employee last week in our street department. He had a aortic tear and almost bled out. Luckily, we had a physician on the scene. Everything seemed to go real well for him. He is made through surgery very well, and as of this time, I believe he is at home. Is that correct, Mr. Cook?
Sure.
So if you would just keep him and his family in your prayers. He is definitely a hero in my eyes for what the man has gone through. That's all I have.
Who do I pray for, so you mentioned his name?
I'm sorry, it's Tony,
Anthony Woods.
Anthony.
Oh, big time, big.
Yeah, everybody calls him Tony.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, we will proceed to old business and item A, discussion of street paving bids.
basically what we have is, we've got a rundown of some streets that we have addressed, and the areas of that. It's got the distance and the amount of surfacing, as well as the total cost.
Just the cost of the asphalt.
That's correct.
What's the total cost?
Well, what it is broke down basically in each paving section. The total cost, it looks like it's gonna be around, $331,630.
Is that the total cost,
That's what it looks like.
installation and all? That's what I'm asking.
Resurfacing the leveling, the
Sure.
depth, and the lane.
I just want a little
Do
clarification.
all my work. What is it? What is it?
Resurfacing $110 a ton.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's average.
That's the cost estimate that an engineer helped us come up with. Based on that $110 per ton.
But that is already figured, is that correct, Seth?
It's all figured.
And that's how we figured it.
But again, I go back to my question, and Councilman, Cagle asked me, sorry, I didn't want to say Jackie up here, but, Councilman Cagle, I'll go back to his and my question. What is going to be the total, the grand total?
Well, I would-
Materials, labor, installation, the whole 9 yards. I think that's what the council needs to know.
That's something that we would have to bid out.
Okay?
I'm not an engineer, but we would bid that out to firms that would provide us with those estimates. If the council would like staff to proceed and solicit bids to find out and bring those back for discussion.
I would like that.
Basically, what we're showing is the areas of need. These are the areas of need, and what has been recommended about what the cost would be if we're paying that amount for the $110 per ton.
This cost is just asphalt.
Yes. It's the asphalt, it shows the depth, on average of tonnage, and, what it is an estimated cost before it's, of course, like that, so they'll have to go out and bids. You can see, but basically what we're doing is we're giving you a roundabout price of what to kind of look for.
That price, it looks to me like it's gonna be tripling that. Time to get the labor and
Yeah.
But it says estimated cost of resurfacing is $110 per ton, so.
that's for asphalt only.
Asphalt
Well,
only.
we gotta put that,
Now, manpower, it's not fuel, it's not equipment. Correct.
I mean, my opinion, I would defer any action until we have some hard numbers.
Yeah, we did.
So,
There's a couple of things too. I mean, I just brought to you, like on Sweetbriar Avenue, there's 2 dead-end streets, Briar Street, Sweet Street. On the way to Patsy, the only thing I hate about saying it, because I do live on one of the streets, but I mean, they're in the same condition as those, so, you know, I don't want to stay waiting to pass 2 streets up.
that will take care of it.
I'm
joking.
saying if you're going by them, and there may be some others that are like that, I don't know,
That, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when this is estimated, that it is one continuous line of road. When they basically estimate the amount. Is that correct?
I believe it is. It's my understanding.
When the short roads run off of it, basically what you're looking at the longer cut-through roads is what they're estimating. That were showing a lot of that, and that's the only reason we didn't get Councilman Sewell's road.
And as a part of the discussion, I would add that if it were bid out and that cost came in wherever that lowest and most responsive bidder came in, there might also be an opportunity to engage, talk with Thompson Engineering working on the McBrien Road project. Once those plans are approved for the TIP fund grant to resurface McBrine, if it turns out that the firm doing the work for that project were able to do some of these side streets at a lower cost. We might be able to piggyback on top of that project to bring that cost down even more. But again, we won't know that until we have the, until we get bids back, have that information. That would be my recommendation.
I would,
Can we just table this till we?
yeah, the way it's phrased, yeah, the way it's phrased on the agenda is just discussion, so we can actually choose to just take no action.
That would be my recommendation, because we're already committed. How much is in the state street aid fund? 1.2?
We have a little over $1.2 million.
Okay, well, we've already committed a large portion of that to Camp Jordan, so, anyway, I think we ought to just table it.
Yeah, I would like to get some, pretty firm numbers, if we can do that. If we have to go down that list and just say,
Would it be about just?
1, 3, 4, 5, or,
Quote on each individual street?
I don't know how difficult that would be.
What was the question?
Councilmember Cagle mentioned, or he asked if it would be possible to get a bid on the individual streets rather than the project as a whole.
Yeah, we could actually do a version A or an option A and an option B. So option A would be to give us a total for the whole project. Option B would be to give us a bid price for each individual street. And we could ask each bidder to require, we could require them to submit.
Let's give us a cost on per foot.
And typically what we've seen too is a lot of these companies they like to pave in certain areas. And the reason being is when they have to load up all this equipment, they have to move it all the way into the city. Then of course, you're not gonna get as good a price as you would if you're paving several streets in one neighborhood, if you would.
No, we're giving them 10 or 12 streets here.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think, again, I know when I think I get in trouble. I do believe that the cost is all inclusive of labor and equipment and capital use for the project, but that's my recollection based on what Melvin and Mr. Floyd was offered to work on.
Okay, if we can verify that prior to the next meeting, that would be very good. And I would be interested in perhaps going ahead and bidding it out and asking for, as Thad explained, option A, option B. Option A being, okay, total cost if you did all of them, and then option B, a street by street analysis. So if we could find out,
You need a motion for that?
yes, we will.
Table it.
I would just ask for the bids, the bidding process to begin. So I'll put it out there in the form of a motion.
I'll second
Okay, a motion and a second to go ahead and ask for bids for the list of roads provided under item 8A here. Do we have any other comments or questions? Obviously, that doesn't commit us to anything. We're just getting hard numbers. Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Griffin.
Yes.
Councilman Cagle.
Yes.
Councilman Manning.
Yes.
Councilman Sewell.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Okay. Item A, under new business, ordinance number 994.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, and ordinance number 989, entitled, an ordinance to provide revenue for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee for the fiscal year July 1st, 2015, to 2016, appropriating the same for the payment of expenses of the municipal government by changing the revenue of the general fund and designating a portion of the fund balance of the state street aid fund by changing the expenditures of the general fund and state street aid fund during the first reading.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 994. Have any comments?
The understanding I have on this, now this is 741,000 is coming out of the 1.2 million and being added to the estimated guess. And we're gonna get 1.7 for this year's budget.
That 500,000 is coming out of approximately 1.2 million that was budgeted as fund balance at the end of fiscal year 15. So pulling it out and spending it on the street project would leave approximately $741,000. In fact, it would be a little bit more than that because the state street aid came in $100,000 better at the end of the year, where revenues came in high and expenditures we kept down. So but that is correct. We are pulling that out of the reserves for state street aid as we were asked to do at the last meeting.
So we're pulling 500,000, which we're gonna spend on Camp Jordan. 241,000 we put in the budget, the original budget.
That would be put in the budget designated for the express purpose of Camp Jordan Parkway. Yes, sir.
241, now I know the 500,000 is, in the original budget, it says fund balance designated, 241,000. Up here is total final 741 out here. So 241 has been put in the budget out of the,
Just it's my understanding that 241 was in there already, and we're just adding the 500 to it.
so it was took out of the 1.2 million.
Right.
Okay, that's, I'm just trying to keep up with 1.2 million.
Understood. Do we have any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Brackett,
Yes.
Councilman Cagle,
Yes.
Councilman Manning,
Yes.
Councilman Sewell,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Yes, sir. Certainly can. Had a request from the vice mayor to move up item G, because there are a lot of folks out here who are waiting on that specifically, and keep them from having to sit and endure all that we will go through between now and then. The request is to go ahead and move it forward.
If no one has any objections, I mean, there's no reason to have that hanging around.
Okay, we will go ahead and do that. So we will go ahead and hear item G, the request for variance from Walmart Neighborhood Market. Gentleman, whoever would like to come forward.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, that over there on the TV. My name is Jeff Sobel. I'm a senior development project manager with the Hutton Company here in Chattanooga. We're the developer of the new neighborhood, Walmart Neighborhood Market grocery store currently under construction on Ringle Road. With me tonight is our Vice President of Real Estate, Matt Phillips, our project coordinator on the project, Kate Sims, who without her help and dedication, this project would never have gotten off the ground.
Thank you.
Frank Cowden of Region Properties, Chad Smith with Walmart Neighborhood Markets, and Ben Berry with Berry Engineers, our civil engineer on the project. We're here this evening to request a variance of the required distance between our store and the surrounding residential properties to be able to sell beer in the store. In a moment, I'm going to turn the podium over to Ben, who will brief you a bit on the progress of the project itself, and then to Chaz, who will talk a little bit about the store itself. Before I do that, though, I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you how excited we all are at Hutton for the anticipation of the store opening, and to thank you all for your partnership that we've had and been able to enjoy between our company and members throughout the city right down from you, Mr. Mayor, to Thad and everybody that we've had the pleasure to work with. It's not very often that we have the chance to, in a public forum at this stage of the project, to come before you and express what a pleasure it's been to work with you all, and to look back and see how the success of that project has a lot to do with establishing that partnership that we've enjoyed. So we want to thank you for that. Having said that, I think I'll turn it over to Ben, and he can talk a little bit about the project and then Chaz, and certainly we're all here for any questions if you have them. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Ben Berry with Berry Engineers, the civil engineer for the project. Just as a recap for your ordinance requires for beer sales in a store such as a grocery store like this, requires a separation of 250 feet from schools, churches, and also residences. The East Ridge Code is a little bit unique in having the distance apply to residences in the city of Chattanooga. That's just schools and churches, and also Hamilton County schools, which is schools and churches. The project does meet the separation requirements from, there's a couple churches in the vicinity, so it does meet the separation requirements from those churches. The reason we are here today is to request the variance due to the separation from residential properties. The residential properties were a big focus point during the rezoning, which you're all familiar with. And so what I've passed out is a site plan that you've seen before. And it has a couple of points on the right-hand side that eventually emphasize some steps that were taken above and beyond what normal commercial projects do to provide separation, mostly visual and physical separation from the surrounding residential properties. Normal code requirements for buffering between commercial and residential is 20 feet with some trees. As part of our rezoning, we increased that by 50% to 30 feet. At the request of some of the residential property owners, we also added a wooden screen fence around the entire property. So there was some concern about people being able to walk through the neighborhood directly to the store. That provides a physical barrier all the way around the store, so that can be done. That was the requirement. So down below that requirement is what we've actually ended up providing after we got through with the final design. We provided 32 feet on the west side, 42 feet on the south, and an average of 79 feet on the east. Plus, on the east side, there's actually a 15-foot alley that is outside our property limits, but it is still part of that. It's not included in that 79 feet. The closest home, because of the fence, you can't walk through directly from a lot of these properties to the store. The distance requirement in your code is measured in a straight line as a crow flies, but as we all know, you can't physically make that connection because of the fence. So what I've drawn on the red line is the shortest pedestrian route to the store, from the nearest home, which is both 1511 and 1517 East Ridge Avenue. So if you were to walk from those homes to the store, the distance is 650 feet. And those are the closest homes that we could physically walk to the store. And again, just to emphasize because this was kind of a point of confusion, we do meet the separation requirements from specifically the church across Ringgold Road for your code. Next up is Chaz, who's the assistant store manager, who's going to go over kind of some store operations for beer sales.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So the main points I want to cover with the mayor, the council. Number one, we are super excited to be a part of your community at this point. It's been nothing but positive feedback from other businesses in the area and from you guys just in general. I want to take this as an opportunity to kind of calm some of the questions you might have over the beer sales that we do in the facility. So we have the unique opportunity with this being a brand new facility. The cashiers that we hire on the front end, as well as the CSMs, they will actually be getting an extra 2 weeks of training on the front end. Outside of that, our normal training is very stringent. Before you even actually go out to the sales floor, you will have to take part in 16 hours of computer-based learning. And every one of those have to be passed 100% before you can actually step behind a register. Beyond that, we have the regular 3 days of training that you must go through. First day, you actually just shadow the current cashier. The second day, they shadow you. The third day, you work side by side with them. So we do everything within our power to teach and train and mitigate any kind of potential issue when it comes to a beer sale. Also, as another layer of protection for the company and for the community, every register is set up to where it automatically prompts to check for an ID. You cannot complete a beer sale, any kind of alcohol sale, without that prompt popping up and checking for that ID of the customer. So we do everything in our power to maintain that control over those transactions. The associates are made aware of the fact that if said transaction is actually completed, they can be held accountable under state, local laws. So really, we do everything in our power day to day to protect our customers and to protect the community to keep these transactions as controlled as possible. I actually have a copy of our policy if the council would like to look it over. It will cover any kind of question you may have over anything from training to compliance. And it does a really good detailed job of just filling in any kind of knowledge gaps that you got in mind. And then just when I open it up to questions.
One question,
Yes, sir.
do your cashiers have to have a beer card to sell beer?
Beer card. Now, I have not heard of
Blue
that.
card?
I have not heard of that. I'm going to be honest with you. That is a new one on me. Is that a state specific
Well, see,
thing? Because I'm from Georgia store, so this is a little new to me.
my sister runs a liquor store, and since this new law has passed where the wine and stuff can come through,
Yes, sir.
okay, now they're allowed to sell beer
Okay.
inside the liquor stores. And she's had to go get her liquor card to sell liquor, but she's also had to get a card to sell, or her cashiers to sell beer.
So that explains why I'm not familiar with that, because I've never worked at a facility that sells liquor. You go a little further south down into Louisiana, a little further north up towards the eastern seaboard and everything, they actually do that. For the general Chattanooga area, we do not do that. That is not a company practice that we have in this area. So that explains why I've never heard of that.
This has come into effect for them since they passed it where they can sell beer because the grocery stores are permitted to sell wine. So, I'm just
Mr. Mayor?
wondering if your cashiers had to have the card.
Yes, sir. If I may? Sure. It's, how many employees are you all looking at?
So initially, we are shooting to have 105 employees. Now, obviously, going through setup, going to the grand opening date, we will lose a couple of those employees. So shooting for 105 initially. After that initial setup process, grand opening and everything, we want to plateau out at about 90 to 95 associates.
Are you able to disclose what your potential opening date is?
Our grand opening date will be October 28th at 10 a.m. Love to see all you guys out there. We will actually take store possession on October 4th, so that's actually when we'll go in the facility, start setting the modulars, getting all the product in there. Early fixture set is going to be September 27th.
Mr. Sobel,
Yes, sir.
if you don't mind, you and I had a telephone conversation, and this whole variance came about because of this one unique, what seems to be unique to the city of East Ridge, where in our ordinance it says, or residential, correct?
Actually, I believe you had the conversation with Matt.
Oh, was it Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I thought it was you.
No, that's quite all right.
My uncle was last name Sobel, so that's where it's coming from.
We have
the gist of why you need this variance.
That's correct. That's correct.
How many dollars have you got invested in this? Ballpark?
Multi-millions.
Just in that one location?
Yes, sir.
You know, gentlemen, I mean, my position is this. We're trying to instill economic impact. We're going to employ over 100 people. And am I correct in saying that if this is not passed, that it's going to put this project in jeopardy?
It's very important to the project for this to be passed, absolutely.
Okay. Therefore, in light of the economic impact it's going to make to the city, the amount of sales tax revenue, they've not asked for any funds from the city. They've not asked for any pilot programs or anything else. I make the motion to approve the variance.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Just a quick question. I imagine you all will be interested in selling wine when that becomes available in
Yes, sir.
next year.